Happy New Year, everybody! 2021, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the new year and welcome to the VoiceIt show. It is episode number 24. Hello, oh my god, look at all these people in the comments. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining in. It feels so good to be back and see you guys. Thank you for tuning in, and it feels so nice to be here once again and to have you with us once again. It's such a pleasure, and well, we cannot thank you guys enough for supporting us throughout 2020. We made it, and it's 2021. Thank you for your blessings and support always. And we want to give a shout out to our patrons.
A big shout out to Shelly O'Neill, Adam Gorak, Chris Vickery, and of course Anders Lindholm. Thank you guys very much.
Yes, thank you so much, guys. And if you want to have a shout out like this, you can always go to patreon.com/the voice it show, and you can see through the tears, and you know. But hey, welcome to the Voice It Show, yet another episode. And today we have with us Mr. Raymond Hayden, a legendary personality, a legendary host, pianist, blogger, a radio show host, singer, award winning songwriter, and you might know him from Grieve the Astronaut Band, the Accidental Grace Band. He has four albums out on iTunes, CD Baby, Amazon.com, everywhere. He has worked on 25 albums with phenomenal artists, and he is also a voting member of a Grammy for Grammy Awards, and it is such a pleasure to have him with us today, Mr. Raymond Hayden. Without any further ado, let's bring him on. Please welcome Mr. Raymond Hayden. Woo!
Hey, I,
Hello.
I don't know who the hell you were just announcing, but I'm just happy to be here. I'd like to meet that guy. Mr. Grieve, the astronaut, accidental grace. I'm just a guy that sits in his backyard and drinks coffee by his fireplace, listens to music. I think you might have the wrong guy.
I don't think so.
Oh my God.
How are you guys this morning?
Very good, very good. Funnily, yeah, it's morning where you are, it's evening where Funky is, and it's night where I am.
That is a trip. Yes. Well, that's why I have my fireplace on, because I want to make sure that Funky is nice and warm, and that the future man goes into that good
Yes.
night.
Oh yeah.
That's right. Hey, by the way, before I forget to say it, Funky, future man, thank you for having me on the Voice It Show. This is I know we're kidding and having fun, but it's an absolute honor. I just do what I do because it's
Thank you.
what I've always done. So for you guys to have me on and hang out with you is it's very cool. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for
Yo,
coming.
thank you.
It's an honor.
Yes, it's an honor and our pleasure to have you today, and thank you for spending your morning with us.
Yeah.
So, such a pleasure.
Absolutely.
So tell us, how has your Christmas been? We were just discussing.
Yeah. No, I know. Backstage, when we get to for all those of you out there watching, I got to talk to Funky the Future Man without all of you listening in. So I got the goods. I got the goods on both these characters. So just PM me, and I'll let you know. Her name's not really Funky. Just kidding.
Yeah.
No. So Christmas was great. And New Year's was great, and it was and what I mean great was we didn't get to do a lot of, like to have a lot of my friends over and do that kind of stuff, and didn't really get to do that. But we had some nice food and hung out with the wife and the roommates and Jon Snow,
Wow.
my dog, of course. But so just ate some good food. And why is it such a good Christmas New Year's this year? Because we're healthy and no one in our household got COVID. And I know a lot of people who have had it. My
Such a
cousins,
blessing.
yeah, I have my father's side of my family is Iranian, and so a lot of my Iranian family is about 4 hours north of me in Canada. A couple of my cousins were in the hospital with COVID, and they're out now and they're safe. So anytime you ask how was Christmas or New Year's or your birthday or anything, and we say, hey, we're healthy, it has a new meaning these days. So
True, 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 totally. And even be positive has completely changed the meaning. Yeah. Hey, be positive. Really?
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, it's amazing, and you guys know this better than most, how a simple act can change so many lives.
True.
And I'm not taking responsibility. I'm not going, hey, look what I did. But Brooke Lizotte, as many of us know, is an amazing artist. He's my mentor. Totally. All I did was challenge him. All I did was challenge him to go live on Facebook. It's not really something he did. And he did.
Wow.
And he continued to do it. And then all of a sudden, all these beautiful people like, the two of you and Ella and the list goes on of all the people.
Yes.
Yeah. He's gone live, a couple hundred times now. He's got a CD out. And
totally.
he's doing his thing and changing the world. And then it inspired the two of you to do this show, right?
Exactly, 101%.
So it's the things that we do. Brooke being so generous with his time and going live and sharing his music with us. Look how many things it's inspired. What a cool thing.
And every morning, which is not a joke. Not a joke, because yes, we do this every week, and we know how much effort we put in, and he does that every morning, which is God.
Yep. Yeah,
you guys are truly our inspiration. Yeah.
Well, it's well, I haven't done that. Believe it or not, I have not gone live one time during this pandemic. I mean, not myself. I've gone live on my wife's shows, and I've been guest on. I've been on a. Hello. Oh, I got a phone call. Yes, Mr. President, I'm on the VoiceIt show. Could you let? I'll call you back. Thank you. Sorry about that. Did anybody else hear that noise? There was like a.
Yes, I did.
Okay, good.
I did. But okay, I'm sorry.
I went with it. I should have gone with. Is that you, Batman? Anyway, yeah, no, I didn't go live. I went live with my wife on a lot of hers, and then some interviews and stuff like this. But yeah, it is a lot of work. I mean, you see Brooke there every morning, with his laptop, making sure that's going on, talking to his bobblehead, talking to his fish, and then playing, and then recording it, and then putting out CDs. It's like, wait a minute. Oh my gosh! How did you guys get those?
Well, Ellie sent
Ellie sent us.
Yeah, she's amazing.
She is. Yeah, there is some amazing people in this rendezvous group, and
absolutely.
Yeah, totally.
That's cool. How does it? Does it feel good? Do you guys can feel all the the vibes and stuff from the family group, right?
Oh, totally. This guy literally talks. This talks.
Yeah. Well, every time you see him, you could probably hear Brooke talking, right?
Well, yeah.
Man, yes.
Attacking, yes.
Definitely. So, tell us, you've just won the World Songwriting Award for Best Song Collaboration for Awakening. How does that feel?
That feels great. It kind of came as a surprise. So my Accidental Grace album
Right.
was all solo piano. And one thing I did with that, and there's also a website too, it's accidentalgrace.com. But one thing I did that a few people don't know about is when the album came out, I sent every song to a different artist and a different music artist, and then also a different graphic artist. And this is all on my website. And what I said was, I said,
Right.
here's a song. I would love for you to collaborate with me on it. And whether that means they change it or do it their own way. Some of them changed, some of it changed it, some of them did it together. But the guitar player, Travis Larson, that collaborated on Awakening with me, he's a world-renowned guitar player. He's in California. If you look up the Travis Larson Band, you'll see this guy is a monster. And he's a really, really good friend of mine. When their band comes on tour, he stays with us. And yeah, I asked him if he would do that, and he did it. We literally did it for fun, and put it out there on iTunes and all that kind of stuff, and then we get an award, and it feels good. It feels good, I guess, to be recognized by people that your song means something. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's amazing. Congrats. And I want to talk about your band a little. So there's an interesting story behind naming the band Grieve the Astronaut. So tell us about it.
Well, do you want the real story, or do you want me to make up one that sounds really cool?
Not the real.
Both.
Both. Okay. So Funky's like, typing to Connect behind the screens. Don't ever get this guy on again. He doesn't shut up. No. So Grieve the Astronaut is my main band. I'm also in a band called Strange Right. But Grieve the Astronaut's my band. It's music I wrote. And so years ago, I'll try to give you the short version. So years ago, actually start here. The show that the band is going to do this year is called Signs. And the reason I bring that up before I tell you about your question is because in life, no matter how young you are or how old you are, it doesn't matter. Years don't matter. It's, do we connect? Do people connect? That's all that matters. And part of connection is seeing things around you, seeing things that are, it's how you look at them. And do you look at them as, God, what am I doing? Karate chopping people? But it's, when something happens, do you look at it as just a coincidence? Or do you look at it as possibly a sign that can lead you down a path that is beautiful and that you don't know, and you see what's going to happen with it. Now the reason, and so that's Grieve the Astronaut show this year we're working on now. We're going in the studio on the 23rd of this month, getting ready to release some music here on a video soon. How that goes relates to Funky's question is, when Grieve the Astronaut was first formed, it's not, I'd love to say it's some really cool story like, I met an astronaut and all this kind of stuff, but the story is really simple. So my wife and I were at her dad's house and we were having lunch, and when they were talking about how that they had a smaller house and they broke the house down to build a bigger house. And I said, oh, interesting. I said, when you broke that house down, did anything get lost when you broke it down or anything like this? And the my wife's mom, she said, well, I did have a statue of an astronaut that got lost. And her dad said, kind of chuckled, and he said, yeah, she's been grieving the astronaut ever since then. And see, fast forwarding to what I said about the show this year, Signs. At that point, something in my head, because you know how we always we have to follow our intuition, right? And and sometimes we just ignore it. Don't. You go with it, even if all it does is ever make you laugh. I couldn't get that out of my head. I was like, Grieve the Astronaut. Oh my God, that sounds so cool. What, you know, and I always joke around my whole life going, that sounds like a great band name, you know. But I was like, oh my God. And then my wheels started turning, and I started thinking about what Grieve the Astronaut meant, and I started seeing this show and the laser lights, and you can see a lot of that on grievetheastronaut.com because we have some past show experience. So when this stuff started coming through my head, and next thing you know, I'm like, I get home and I immediately started writing music, and you know, wrote a song called Million Hands, and then No Surprise, and so the music just started coming, and like No Surprise, it's funny because I wrote that, you know, like, I don't know, 4 some odd years ago, and the lyrics are, no one ever listens, no one ever takes the time, no one ever listens, comes as no surprise. No one ever sees you. Yeah, no one ever sees you. No one ever takes the time. No one ever sees you. It comes as no surprise.
No surprise.
You know, so it just basically was about the future.
Mm-hmm.
But at the time, you know, the fact that people just don't slow down, take the time to really hear us and see us, and then, you know, I'll skip the details. Forming the band together, I ended up meeting a young lady who turns out she had got one of my albums earlier on, and my album Door With Your Tears, and it inspired her and her playing, and you can read about it on the website. But then her and I met, and yeah, thank you. Her and I met, and you know, she thought I was some piano player that was, you know, in some other state. Turns out I'm right in her backyard, and not literally her backyard, you know, future man.
I did the same thing.
but we met, and I said, hey, why don't you come over? I just put a band together called Be the Astronaut. You want to come over and just kind of hang out with us and see how the process goes? And she said, sure. And she did. And when practice was over, the whole time she was just kind of doing, you know, sitting there doing this and getting into it. And when we were done and we were tearing down, I said, hey, Callie, I said, why don't you play for the guys? And she's not shy.
Right.
And so she goes over to my keyboard and starts playing. And then I look at the guys and they look at me and I'm like, want to join the band? And, you know, that was the start of the band, you know, so all from just someone losing a statue to me thinking, wow, what a cool band name, to, you know, meeting a girl who had been a fan of mine from buying one of my albums, and it's just crazy, but it comes back to show why the three of us are here in this room on the VoiceIt show. Connection. You know, Brooke Lazat goes live. We all, for whatever reason, go in there and listen. I go into other live streams too. Not everyone talks like our fam does. We're all talking, getting to know each other.
100%.
And we're from different. We're from all over the place. So that's why Grieve the Astronaut is so important to me. What the name means is we're grieving.
Yes.
We're all grieving something. The astronaut is representation of hope, fear, lover, love, friend, whatever. And our band is about all the music is about if you just listen. When you're with your friend, when you're with your mom, with your boyfriend, your girlfriend, whatever, listen. Don't wait. You know, you have something you want to say. That's great, but listen. And it's amazing. It's amazing what we can hear. It's amazing what we hear when we actually really listen.
Wow.
Totally. And I listened to Grieve the Astronaut many a times within a single day, and I was totally into it. You know, they say I'm into it. I was like blown away. And and this is what I pulled out from the website. This is what Steve Lukather has to say about it. And this is just Steve. But what I want to say is, man, everybody out there should go just listen to this album. It is fantastic. And one of my favorite songs is Red Door to Nowhere. It is amazing, I feel.
You know,
really.
you know, being an artist, we're our own worst enemies, and it means a lot to me, and I really appreciate that. Everything gets better, right? I mean, we every time we do something, it should get better, and so I'm
Yeah.
very happy. I'm very proud of that album. But I can tell you, the one that we're working on now, which we're going to release single by single, is
Yeah.
is it's much more mature. It's the songs are, I think,
Definitely.
are a little bit better. I mean, and that's how it should happen. It's not that what you do before is bad, but it should get better. Can I tell you a funny story about Red Door to Nowhere?
Sure.
That's the only song that when I listen to it, I'm like, because
Oh.
because there's certain things about how I performed on the chorus that I just, I'm like, oh my God, is it just me that hears that? It's not that it's out of tune or whatever. It's just, as artists, right? We all have we all kind
Okay.
of have our, and then you have people who call up and they're like, so where's what where is this red door? Is there a red door? And I'm like, no, man, that's the door in your, it means songs mean something different to everybody, right?
It's
Mhm.
it's all in the narrative in the
Right.
song.
But I'm honored that you like it though, and I decided to share. We're talking so we can find out more about each other, right? And that's the thing is, I love what I
Totally.
do, and I love to. The funny thing, you didn't ask me this, but is one thing that Brooke knows about me, because he's my mentor, and now the two of you, my new friends, my new beautiful friends, Future Man and Funky, is we all can't, and this is very important, we have to take certain things in life serious, but we should live day to
True.
day, not worry about our age, and just have fun. We have to be able
True.
to laugh at ourselves, and laugh at certain situations, and like when we do something that later on is like, oh my God, like my thing I used to, like when I was working with one of my young friends, is she would kind of be like, well, I want to do this, and I would be like, well, I am 50 something, I've been doing this a long time, and she would look at me kind of
Right.
funny, and later on I would look at that and go, oh my God, did I really say that? And we joke about it now, but yeah,
Right.
there's seriousness in the narrative, and funniness in the delivery,
Right.
right?
Exactly. Exactly. That is profound, by the way.
No, well,
So, yeah.
maybe
And
maybe it's the white hair.
totally. So, 2020 was a year, especially for music industry as well. Everybody had their own challenges, and to promote hope, and to put out positivity, and everything that is good, and spread the message of hope. You came up with the concept of we can make it.
Hmm.
And would you like to tell us something about that? Or, well, we have a video we'd like to play. Just a
Sure.
minute.
Okay.
Good morning and happy post-Thanksgiving. My name is Raymond Hayden. I am a piano player, singer-songwriter from Tacoma, Washington. And last Monday, I was inspired by all the pain and struggle that our fellow artists are having across the world. And I came up with an idea, a framework of a song. And I had the idea, hey, I'm going to throw this out there on Facebook and see which one of my artist friends will answer that call. And 10 artists did. And in 5 days, we took the song from a framework to a collaboration with 11 of us, including our producer, completely written, mixed, mastered, and out to the publicist with artwork and everything. And that is what's going to be, we're going to be sharing with you in an hour at noon today, Pacific Standard Time. The artists involved are myself on keyboards. The vocalists are Jessica Lynn Whitty, Circa, Michael Wansley, who is the Wands, Kit Bender. On guitars are Lyle Ronglian, George Varghese. On bass guitar is Jeff Eason. On keyboards, along with myself, because I'm doing the piano, and Tony Cherokee, Anthony Cherokee does all the synthesizers. And then on saxophone, Paul Sattel. Bringing this all to fruition is our producer, Sean Van Domelen, lead guitar player and one of the songwriters for Strangely All Right. And then mastering it is George Varghese, who also played guitar from Verge Studios. And together, this song is called We Can Make It. Collectively, our goal behind the song is to shed light and hope on a world and an industry, and to remind our fellow human beings that hope is possible and that together we can make it.
How beautiful is that?
Oh, does that guy ever shut up? Blah, 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 blah. No, I'm kidding. No,
Sometimes that's a good
that
thing.
is some good.
oh,
Sorry,
you
go
guys
ahead.
I love you guys. No, so I kind of said it all there, but I just was my challenge for 2020 was as you know, I have one of the most important things in my life is connecting and is other artists, and the music community, and all this stuff, and I just on a Monday I'd just been talking to a couple different artists, one in Germany and one in Tennessee, and then a friend of mine in California, and my heart was breaking because these guys, I have a day job besides doing music. These guys don't, and they're struggling. My wife's entire tour, opening up for big acts, all kinds of everything gone, and I've spent so much of 2020 talking to other artists, messaging with them, letting them know it's going to be okay. Say the chorus, do the stuff, and I finally just had a breaking point, and I was like, what can I do? I'm not, filthy, stinking, rich. I don't have millions of dollars in my bank account to take care of all these artists and do whatever. What can I do? And I just remember thinking, we can get through this. And so I went in, told my wife about it. I said, hey, what do you think? She goes, yeah. I said, you want to write a verse? And she's like, sure. And so I had written music right then. I went in and put my hands on the keyboards, and the chords came out, and then I put it on Facebook and just basically waited for people, said, hey, do you want to be part of this? And about 10 people said yes, and so I sent the track to all them. They did their parts,
Right.
and we put it together here. I mixed it to give the engineer an idea of what I was hearing. And then he mixed it.
Wow.
He did a real job. And then we sent it to George Varghese, who's got a studio in Bothell, and who, by the way, you guys should know too. He's just a
Sure.
beautiful man. But we put it together and put it out, and we have a lot of local artists. The Wands from Macklemore. I got $20 in my pocket. I'm gonna pop some tabs. That guy. Is a good buddy of ours, and he was in it, and and it's we didn't get tons and tons and tons of attention like I'd hoped we would, because we were trying to. It was a song by artists for artists, but it's hard to be a flame in a forest fire.
Right. Right.
And there's so much going on in the world. It's really hard to.
True.
So much negativity and nastiness. It's hard to get through that.
True.
So,
But just one spark could ignite, fire and whatnot. So it's really great that you guys put it out, and that's because I can say that doing this podcast and watching you guys, that's what inspired us to start our own, right? So that's what I can say, So even though it's like, okay, it's been out, it's now out there, but you never know who will see it, and it might inspire
Yeah,
someone. So it's really great that you guys have done it, and it's now out there, and I'm sure that someone will see it and pick it up, definitely.
Well, if you listen, if I can be serious for a second, no joking, Ray.
Sure.
That's me
sure.
talking to
Sure.
myself. Okay. Listen, anybody who's ever been successful, I mean, truly successful at anything. No, we all know that money helps and all this kind of stuff, and that's all fine. But anyone truly who's been successful has help. Has help.
Yes.
Okay. And you can't do things on your own. And it's
True.
hard. It's hard. It's not always perfect. You have each other, and you bounce ideas off each other. And the key is to don't worry about other podcasts. Don't worry about other musicians. Don't worry about anybody else. If you
True.
just do Future Man and Funky, and you do that, that's it. Don't worry about, hey, what would be cool? It would be cool to have this kind of an intro. It'd be cool to have a cartoon Funky and fighting with bongo. Whatever it is, if you are true to yourselves and don't really care,
Exactly.
it will go fine. Because when you're authentic and you're who you are, you attract
True.
the right people. And the other ones, the ones who are like, oh, it's just another podcast. Oh, it's it's just another piano player, just whatever. Then you just say,
True.
okay, cool, thank you. Well, see ya, goodbye, and you make more room for the people. The right people are attracted by authenticity, and the other ones are pushed away, and good. And so that's the same thing with music. It's the same thing with
Wow.
life. And if there's anything I can leave you or anyone listening with, it's that. It's like,
Right.
in 2021, be yourself, baby. Be yourself and love it. And you may lose a friend or two,
True.
and that's okay. It doesn't mean you're doing anything wrong. It just means you're being true to yourself. The people you end up connecting with are going to be the right people, and that is, take it from me. Don't waste any time on
True.
the wrong people or the wrong things, right?
Yeah. Wow. Thank you for saying
True.
that. That was
True.
amazing
Wise words.
advice.
Thank you so much. Yes.
Yeah, when it comes to bouncing off ideas and being co-hosts, it's not we Kanak and we do exactly that. Every time we're on, we're like, oh hey, I have this new idea, let's do that, and I love that. And aside from being co-hosts, we're best friends, so that's even better. And like, I'm really thankful to have Kanak by my side when it comes to the podcast. And yeah.
Well,
Ditto.
and you know what? and for people who may not know, oh, by the way, before I say what I'm gonna say,
Yeah.
I did look at some of the comments, and there's a really funny person, the Rock and Power podcast.
That's Robert.
Yeah.
That's Robert. He's
Yeah.
a funny guy. He's like, watch out for the blue door to nowhere. Like, oh my God.
God.
Hey, man. You know what? We all know of people like Gandhi, right? And and Nelson Mandela, and I mean, God, no, I mean, you go down the list of people who are inspirational people, than musicians like
True.
John Lennon and you name it. The fact that the two of you are from completely different places in the world, but a woman can say about a man, this is my best friend.
Yeah.
It just, let that sit with you for a second. I mean, that's, a lot of people say that, but you guys are doing something. And this is episode 24, right?
Yeah.
True.
Congratulations. You're almost at, you're almost 25. 24 is cool. I'm happy to be a part of it. But you just stay the course, continue being friends, and don't be afraid to disagree every once in a while, because disagreeing, we start to grow when we have obstacles and whatever. But you guys are just taking what Brooke's been doing to a whole nother level. And there's ever anything I can do for you, if there's an artist you want to talk to that I might be able to help with, or you want some music or whatever, just let me know. Yeah,
sure. Thank you so much. That's such a blessing to us. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Well, yes.
So
I don't even know what to say now. I'm so thankful.
I actually have a question for you guys. I'm just curious. I don't even feel like we're on a podcast. I feel like it's just like we're talking. Yeah. It's like
hanging out. Totally.
So, Funky, what are you doing? What are you doing later? What are you doing? Future man. No. So why did you guys? And that's something that means something to me too, and I think it means something to people out there. It relates to why the three of us are talking, because you guys obviously were like, either Brooke said told you offline that he felt sorry for me and could you throw Ray a couple crumbs, or you guys were like, hey, I dig what Ray's doing. We want to talk to him. Well, I dig what you guys are doing, so I want to talk to you. Why did you guys? What was the one thing that made you guys go, we're gonna have a podcast?
Well,
there's not one thing. There are a million things.
Yeah.
Awesome. So you didn't see things as coincidences, right? You saw things as signs that this is what you need to be doing.
Well, yeah. Do you want me to?
Okay, go ahead, Funky. Okay, Funky, go ahead.
Yeah. This is okay. Let me start. So, Kanak and I, we are both huge fans of Ryan Roxy, who is our guitarist, and he also has a podcast called In the Trenches. And both of us, were watching the podcast for a long time, and we somehow, let's say, became friends by being in the comments. Like, on Brooke's, live stream Rendezvous, like people in the comments became friends. That's how Kanak and I became friends. And so one day after Ryan's show, which was called Sunday Live Stream Sunday, I went live on Instagram, and Kanak was in the comments, and also our friend Rebecca was in the comments. And I don't know why, how, but Kanak just called my live stream. What was it, like something like Thursday, live stream Thursday or something? And I was like, oh, cool, that sounds awesome, like this is my new podcast. But I said everything, all of that as a joke. And after a while,
we pretended.
Yeah, like we were pretending like this is a podcast. But I was alone, like I wasn't talking, with someone. And I was like, I'm gonna make a group on Instagram and let's actually make a podcast or something. And I made the group. And Kanak and I, we didn't know each other that much, but like we became friends instantly. The three of us. When we started, we didn't even know what we were doing. Like we didn't prepare any questions or topics to talk about. We were like, let's get someone, who will be our guest and just talk to the person. And our first guest was Mike Fasano, and we also have to thank him now for starting and believing in us without even knowing us that well. So ever since then, we just, with every episode, we kept on improving and adding more stuff. I don't know, a lot of amazing things have happened. Now it's just the two of us, Kanak and I. Rebecca was a co-host as well before. But, things happened, and we are here where we are. So, that's the story.
Awesome. No, that's a great story. I mean, and I know you kind of gave me the short version, but that's cool. I mean, you guys came together because you had a connection. And imagine. Okay, I can't even say it because I'll get emotional. But just imagine if more people did what the two of you did. I wouldn't be here right now, being lucky enough to be interviewing, telling about my crazy little life. it's powerful, and just bank on that. And it just like I told you about Red Door, how when I listen to Red Door, I'm like, ooh, but Canuck loves it. You're gonna look back on you look back at these earlier podcasts, and you'll probably even though nothing's wrong, it's totally fine, but you're gonna look back and go, what were we doing? It's a natural course of things. But as long as you guys have fun, as long as you guys have fun, and I think you're doing a great job. You got a brand, you got all this cool stuff, and I mean, and just to remind everyone out there, where are the two you located in the world right now?
I'm in India.
Right.
Yeah, and I'm in Bosnia and Herzegovina.
And I'm in Tacoma, Washington.
There you go.
So tell me that's not crazy. And by the way, my friend George is from India. And his studio is Verge Studios, VERGE Studios.
Yeah.
And he hosts and records a ton of artists from India. Canuck, I think you should go onto his site and introduce yourself and tell him we're friends. And he's the guy who you guys want to get to know. Trust me, the sweetest, most talented man on the face of the planet. Guitar player like Joe Satriani, you name it. But anyway, sorry, I went on a tangent.
Wow.
But yeah, it's connection.
It's really cool.
Yeah, it's connections here.
Totally. I love to. Totally. Thank you so much. Loved. So we have a question from people, and this is from Around the White, our friend Chris Morris, and she asks, how did you and Brooke meet? Do you have any fun Brooke stories to share?
Who's Brooke again?
No idea.
Let me think about that for a second. How did I meet Brooke? I had to think about that for a second. So
take your time.
I'm not. That's funny because we've known each other for a while. Because and thank you for the question, Chris. Because Brooke is one of my mentors. I can't really pinpoint exactly when we met because we're all of us being musicians, we tend to, meet out in the music industry. My best recollection is that I met Brooke when he was playing with a band called Dreamwreck, and and in that band was the drummer, the guy that played with Heart, played drums for Heart for like 26 years, Ben Smith. Guy that played with Heart for a while on bass, John Bayless, guitar player Rod Cook. Anyway, and then Brooke on keys, and their band is called Dreamwreck. And we met and at a show, I believe, and just hit it off, and just got along, great right off the bat. And and then he asked me if I'd help book their band, book Dreamwreck a little bit because I had connections down here, so I did that, and then we started doing shows together called Evening of Keys, which is something I'd put together, which was basically a show that we did, maybe a couple times a year, and it was just keyboard players. There's like 6 or 7 keyboard players. Each one of us would do a set. Wow. Yeah, and that was a show. You'd come in, and we'd have like 150 some odd people, and nice tablecloths and candles and just piano music. And I'd normally go first because the type of music I do is really, really mellow, a dreamy kind of thing. And then we'd have these different other keyboard players go, and then Brooke would always be the headliner. Brooke would always go on last because he's a bad mother, And then we through all that we started becoming good friends, and 2016 I went on tour in Europe, and I've lived there before, but I went on tour in Europe, and all I was doing was playing organ, and my organ chops weren't as strong, so I reached out to Brooke and went up to Brooke, and we sat there, and he gave me a couple lessons and drank a bottle of wine, and I went on my tour, and thanks to him and his tour mentoring, was a successful tour for me, and yeah, and we've just been friends ever since then. And when his fish died, I as you guys know, I went up and I brought him another fish, and yeah, and we talk. Obviously I'm in the group almost every morning with you guys, but we probably talk on the phone at least every couple of weeks. We touch bases and talk for like a half hour and just laugh and joke around, and I tell him he's old and he tells me I'm crazy, and hopefully that answers Chris's story. But it just like anything else, it just kind of like the two of you meeting in the chat, the comments and whatever. Brooke and I just met because we were both musicians in the music community, and hit it off. Right. And went with that. You hit it off with somebody, keep seeing them. Why not? If they bring joy to your life and you bring joy to their life, there you go. That's it.
Hey, you're a friend sending love from Italy. Hi, Federico.
To Italy. Oh, I love Italy. I love the pizza and the lasagna. And I like talking with my hands.
There you go. So Anders, our friend, asked, does Raymond Hayden have any cats or dogs?
Yes. Or are we talking the one and only Anders Lindholm?
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
It is a sheer Anders, it is a sheer honor. Yes, I do. I have a dog. He's a German Shepherd Lab mix, and his name is there he is. That's when he was a puppy. I love you two. See, you guys are doing a great job. Every time we start talking about something, you got a picture. That's when he was just a little baby. Yes, he's a little baby. He looked like an otter back then. But his name is Jon Snow, from Game of Thrones, and the reason we called him Jon Snow,
my God.
Yeah, Jon Snow from Game of Thrones. The reason we called him Jon Snow is not because he was king of the North, but in case he did something bad, we could call him our little bastard. And if you've watched Game of Thrones, you'll know what we're saying.
Does he know nothing?
What I'm talking about. Yeah.
Does he know nothing?
He knows nothing. He knows nothing. Yes, but thank you for the question. And we also have a cat. We also have a cat. One of my roommates has a cat named Chi Chi, or Mon Chi Chi. And
wow.
Other than that, yeah, no, I'm love all animals, but mostly dogs.
Wow.
I have a little. Yes. And
so
he
cool.
would be normally out here with me, but.
Okay.
Right. Awesome. So you're also a proud veteran, and you served in Army, if I'm not wrong.
Correct.
Germany.
Yes, sir.
So would you like to tell us about those years in the Army, and what did those years teach you in terms of
yeah, sure.
how did those lessons, yeah, sure.
Sure. Yeah. So I was in the U.S. Army right out of high school. I went into the Army, and I was. Funny enough, that's a picture of my son. He is a Marine.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. So my son was a Marine.
Wow.
Basically, my mom and my stepdad got divorced, and so we were very poor, and grew up not even having my own instrument. Had to borrow an instrument because I didn't start playing keyboards till I was 21. Actually, in the Army, but had to borrow an instrument in school. I was a trumpet player, French horn player, but went into the Army, and because I didn't want to work at a fast food restaurant and go to college and do all that. So I wanted to see the world. I love to travel. I've been traveling since I was 9. And so, I went into the Army, just 4 years. I did it because I specifically wanted to go to Europe and travel. And I did. And I met my mentor over there. Basically, how I started playing keyboards was when I was in the Army in Mannheim, West Germany, at the time before the wall went down. A gal, I was sitting with a gal at a restaurant, telling her I was a musician, and she said, hey, I have another friend who's a musician. His name is James, and she goes, matter of fact, there he is right there. And this guy walks in with a trench coat and a guitar over his back, and she introduced us, and we got along really well. And he goes, so you're a musician? I said, yeah, I'm a trumpet player. He goes, oh, we should go down to the music center. Well, there was a music center right around the corner, so we went there, and didn't work out very well with the trumpet and the guitar. And as we were leaving, there was a picture, a Polaroid picture on a chalkboard that said somebody song on their keyboard, and and I looked at James, and I was like, ha! Excuse me. I said, I should buy that keyboard. We should start a band together, and we should be rock stars and get all the ladies, you know. And we laughed about it. We went and had some beers, and the next morning I woke up and I was like, I'm gonna go buy that keyboard, and I did. And I was introduced to my mentor, who taught me how to play keys. And we don't have enough time. We don't have enough time on the show, but I spent a lot of my Army career working in the Army during the day and playing rock bands and traveling around Europe. And I ended up even becoming friends with the keyboard player for Europe, Mick McKaylee.
Cool.
All kinds of stuff. But I was proud to serve my country in the Army, and glad I never went to war.
True.
But if I would have, I mean, you know, that's why I joined. I mean, you know, that's part of the thing. But, yeah, it was a very good. You ask how it paid forward is that gal that introduced me to that other musician. She lives in Colorado. We are still friends to this day. I see her, talk on the phone, get Christmas cards. That bass player, those musicians that were in that band, we're still friends to this day. My mentor in Hamburg, Germany, still friends to this day. The other musicians, a few of the other musicians, photographers and stuff that were over there, and some of the guys and girls that were friends, actually an old girlfriend including, we're all still friends. Right. So what I took out of that was it's a very small world. Anything's possible. True. And just stay in touch, you know, and yeah. You know, I didn't learn how to kill. The Army didn't teach me how to kill anybody with a little finger. You know, like you see in the movies. So, anyway.
True. And in your family, I guess your son is a Marine, and your father or grandfather was in Army. Please correct me.
My son was a Marine for 5 years. He's no longer a Marine. He lives in Virginia. He's He's a single guy who does IT. But my father, that's opening up a whole nother box. My father and I, my mom and dad divorced when I was 1.5 years old. And I didn't see my dad again until I was 18. But it's funny. It's a great question. I can't remember if he was in the military or not, but that's one of the things that song "Awakening" that you were so kind in the beginning of this interview to talk about, because when I had that song was a realization for me. And we for artists or whatever we write about what we are, and that song was an awakening for me, that even though my dad didn't value me enough to be in my life when I was a kid, I'm still important. Wow. And that song, and that's why that song is so convoluted and crazy, because that was my mind. And when I finished writing that song, I came out the other side going, Ray, the piano player, Ray, the guy who puts on unicorn outfits, the guy who jokes around. You are important. And I know you were talking about the military experience, whatever, but because you asked about my dad, it's interesting. We're talking about music too. Because I took a positive out of that, but it took many years to understand why I put others ahead of myself for so long, and that's okay. But if we don't take care, it's like if we take care of ourselves, imagine how much better we'll be able to take care of other people too, right? So
Absolutely.
Definitely,
Mhm.
definitely. That's amazing. Salute to you, actually, and thank you for your service as well.
thank you. Yeah, you're welcome. It was an honor, brother. It was an honor. It was. We do what we do.
Mhm.
Yes.
Hello.
So you have your own podcast called The Aquarium, and fun story about it is that you met Jessica, your wife, through your podcast.
Right. Yep. Absolutely.
So,
So
and now she has her own podcast.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, right. This world is crazy. So yes and no. I had the pot. Hang on a second. So you asked
Cool.
about my dog. Chris asked about my dog. Guess who's here? Jon Snow. Jon
Hi.
Snow. Hey, boy. Sit. Yes, you. Oh, you're such a lover. Sit down. Sit down. Sit.
Hello.
I want you to talk to all the people out there at the VoiceIt. Can you guys see him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's Jon Snow. Okay, he's gone again. So I did. He is such a lover, I tell you. So I did have a podcast called The Aquarium. The new one, and I did have it for a long time. So, and that's the one that pops up
Okay.
when you see it. The new one I have now is called called Houston. But
Okay.
but you're right. That's how Jessica and I met. Jessica and I both had got out of long relationships, and we kept running into each other. But yeah, Packing a Punch is her. Jessica Lynn Whitty is a country artist. But
Yes.
we had got together. She was doing a show at the Hard Rock Cafe in Seattle, and I was up there, and she wanted to talk about being on my radio show. And we'd kept running into each other in the industry and
True.
out there in the community. But when we actually sat down and had a glass of wine, and she could sit across from me and realize I wasn't just a joker all the time, we connected. We connected, and you guys know how it is. I mean, if you're sitting across from somebody and you see them or you hear them say something, you immediately go, you just know. And
Yeah.
so that's it. But yeah, so that Aquarium was my first podcast. That's where Jessica and I met. And then I have a podcast now called Houston on Seattle Wave Radio, and we interview big rock stars, local independent people. We're not doing quite as fancy as you guys are with video. It's just recorded, like audio podcast. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. I've been fortunate over my career to be able to interview guys like Steve Lukather. Earlier this year, Rachel Flowers, who is she's a blind female pianist, and studied under Keith Emerson. So in the progressive world, she's very, very one of the most well-known piano players in the world. And then local people and doing whatever. But it's just like you guys. I just like to talk to people and get to know them, and we learn.
True. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So cool. So tell us, obviously you have performed in arenas and whatnot. Do you also perform at, house parties? And which is, your favorite venue to perform?
Yeah, I performed, my goal is to one day, I would love to be able to perform on the bigger stages consistently, because it's a rush. The connection you have with that many people, the energy just goes to your body and just makes you, just lights you up. But I've done everything from a lot of bigger venues. Played the Tacoma Dome last year, to coffee houses, to wine bars, to house parties, all that. I like them all.
True.
They all bring something different. House parties are a lot of fun because you can really connect with the people there and stuff. Yeah, exactly.
Funky and I love this. Funky and I love this.
Well, no, that was at a friend of mine, Elisa Rizzolo's, and super fun. Matter of fact, I just performed over at her house on that piano like 2 or 3 weeks ago for her Bible study. So it was just me and
Wow.
nine super sweet, beautiful women, just me on the piano. And we talked. I told her about the songs I wrote. So it was a really cool connection. And
Wow.
yeah, that just yeah. There's some shots from the Grieve the Astronaut. You can see there.
Totally. Yes.
That right there. It's funny that you bring that shot up. Shows you that you are truly the future man. That's my favorite type of venue to play. That holds about 250 to 300 people.
Awesome.
The stage isn't monstrous, but we can bring in all kinds of lights and lasers and whatever, and really bring
True.
like a big show feel to a smaller venue, and
Right.
just really touch people.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
Totally.
because the smaller ones, I'll be honest with you, some musicians say, "Oh, I love playing, for just like 6 people." It's like, hey, I'll play it for 6 people, no problem. But when it's in a smaller environment, I feel more self-conscious, with the lights are all on and stuff like this. I like it to be dark and
Yeah.
lights cutting
Lights
through
are
you
the magic. Yeah.
yeah. Because the thing is,
Totally.
listen, man, we hear with our eyes, right? We hear with our eyes, because it's like funky, it's even the same thing in relationships, right?
Yeah.
So when
True.
I say like we hear with our eyes, right? So you're at the club, right? You're at the club. You go to the club sometimes, right? Well, maybe
Yeah.
not in COVID, but you go to the club, and this guy walks in, and you're just like, wow. I mean, he's dressed really nice, got the cool shoes, he's tall, dark, and handsome,
True.
or whatever it is that you like about guys. He walks in, he walks over to you, and you're like, yeah, this guy's good looking. And then he's like, hi, how are you? My name's Steve. You're probably gonna be like,
Yeah.
What the heck
yeah,
is
you're gonna be
this?
like, see ya. I'm being funny,
Bye-bye.
but we hear with
True.
our eyes. If what we see matches what we hear, and we
Mm-hmm.
resonate with that, then it's magic, man. It's just magic. I know that's kind of a corny example, but when musicians, I had a conversation with a musician last night over here. I was like, hey, you're putting out some new music. You've got to put more effort into how you get it out. That's why the music I'm putting out is going to be video. And Jessica's putting out a song every month and a video every month.
Yes.
It's like you got to do things that get people to engage with their eyes, and because if not, then
True.
all they're hearing is, "Hi, my name's Steve." No, but
True.
poor Funky. She's gonna go to the club the next time, and some guy is gonna walk up and go, "Hi," and she's gonna be like, "Oh God, Ray said it."
Oh my God. I was gonna say that, gosh.
Yeah.
And speaking of Jessica, the new song Hail Mary is already out. So go check that out on YouTube. And
Thank you.
it's really fun. It's really funny.
Yeah,
It's really fun.
I'll let her know that you gave her some love. And just so you know, you guys,
Totally.
you want to have, I don't know how many women you've had on here, but she is as corny
We
as
have
I am.
had.
You had some?
Truly. Yes, obviously.
You got to reach out to her and get her on your show. She's a geek.
Sure.
She loves sci-fi stuff and stuff from and like archaeology stuff and Harry Potter and back to the, Men in Black.
Awesome.
I mean, she's goofy, but that song you talked about, Hail Mary, is
Oh my God.
basically it's
fun.
basically the song is basically about being unapologetically you. Don't apologize for being who
Yes.
you are. You shouldn't. None of you should. The reason she did the video the way she wanted to is because she was like, she wanted to, because most of the times her videos, like the video she put out last year, they're more dramatic in drone footage and whatever. She wanted people to smile, and know that it's okay to be you and whatever, and be goofy. And but that song, tell you what, put it on, watch the video. You'll have a lot of fun. By the way, I'm the unicorn. And then, but then fun. Listen to it with your eyes closed. It's an ass kicker. I mean, that song is it's ass kicking rock, and she's a country artist, so yeah.
Yes, 101%. Great song and great visually too. Fun visually actually.
yeah, it's a lot of fun. Yep. Absolutely.
Awesome.
So
yes, go ahead, Funky.
So we're reaching the end, but there's this one thing that I've been wondering and I want to ask you. So tell me, if you can have your friends, family remember one thing about you, what would you want it to be?
It broke up a little bit. If I wanted my friends and family and people out there to know one thing about me, what would it be?
To remember one thing about you.
Remember one thing. Probably that. I know it is. That I was just one person, and I cared, and it was real. It is real. God, it's not like I'm dead already. But dang, Funky, you got my eyes all watery asking that question. Okay. Is if people, the one thing I want people to know is that it's why my friends call me the unicorn, because unicorns, aren't real. Don't tell anybody that. But they call me the unicorn because sometimes when something's too good to be true, it normally is. And I want people to know that it's real. I mean, I actually really do care about the music community. I do think I love fiercely. I will give the shirt off my back to my fellow artists. What I say, I mean, and that I just wish I'm gonna be the guy who, I know it seems like a simple question. I'm thinking out loud, but I just want to be that. I want to be remembered as that, and people to know that I'm not just putting my picture out there in positive messages so that people see my face. I mean, my face. Look at it. It's just another face. I mean, I don't know whether I'm good looking or not good looking or ugly or whatever. I don't care. It's just a face. But the reason I put my face on those memes is because I want people to know where it's coming from. It's coming from another human being. I want people to do what the two of you are doing, what our fam's doing with Brooke, what the artist did and We Can Make It, what all band members do, the music community, the world. Just stop, take a breath, realize what's important is what's in our hearts, and how we connect with each other. And so what? The two of you talking, and Karak, you're like, no, DC's the best, and Funky's like, no, Marvel's the best. Well, have a great dialogue. Don't call each other stupid or whatever. I mean, people are losing friendships and stuff over having disagreements because they're different. And it's, people say, well, I don't see color and I don't see this, and see it. Grab a hold of it.
Exactly.
Squeeze the love out of it, the life out of it. It's the differences that make us all powerful. So now that I've given you way too much, what I want people to know about me is that I'm real. I mean what I say, and I'm just one guy. And imagine if everyone out there listening this morning got away from this, took a deep breath, closed their eyes, and when they opened their eyes back up, they decided, you know what? I'm going to make a difference. And you just make that difference with just the people right around you. You don't have to go crazy big. So hopefully that answers it.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. Indeed. Thank you so much. That has brightened my night.
Well, I still
Gosh,
got my fireplace on to make sure that Funky's nice and warm and that Kanaka's ready to hit the hay.
Thank you.
totally.
You're
And
welcome.
so
Yes,
before,
but before we go,
yeah, before we
Uh-oh.
go,
we have something else as well.
yes.
Yes, go ahead, Funky.
Yeah, we want to promote someone, a special someone that has brought all of us together, Raymond and
Yes,
Kanak and I, and look at
totally.
this. Yeah, so our
Yes,
amazing Lazat has a new album out called 2020 Isolation Morning Rendezvous Phase 2.
yes.
It's out, and of course the Phase 1 is already out. And
The phase two has just released. By the way, this is the phase one, but the phase two has already. The phase two has just released, so and it is up for pre-order. So go ahead and place your orders at facebook.com/brook.lizard1. One is important.
yeah.
So do go order. And what would you like to tell about Brook Lizard? Sir Raymond, hold on,
I,
Funky, with the
I would
socials a bit.
I would like to say that Brooke Lazat is one of the most inspirational piano players I've ever known in my life. He's got an amazing heart. He's during the COVID season last year.
Right,
He's been going live probably a couple hundred times, and he hasn't.
right.
He's had a virtual tip jar and stuff, but he's done it for free out of the goodness of his heart to bring joy into people's lives. And we all encouraged him, everyone in the Rendezvous family, to put out CDs. And I would just say that the least any of us could do would be, if you can't afford to buy the CDs, no problem. I mean, we all get in trouble, but share it. If you know someone who likes piano or beautiful music,
True.
humor, even that comes through in his playing.
Yeah.
Let people know about the
Yes,
CD, because I mean that's what this cat does for a living. He's a musician and he gave back. He still does to this very day. Right now, I think he's live right now
Yeah,
while we're
he
he
is.
talking.
is live right
Um,
now, by the way.
yeah,
Yes,
but he's an astounding artist, and he may be one of the most brilliant artists that many people have never heard of. Because you know how this world is,
totally.
if you don't have a big record label and all this kind of stuff, and Brooks had that. Brooks got music. He goes to LA and has music and movies as well. But he's one of the most beautiful human beings and brilliant artists that you probably haven't heard of. So check him out.
Yes,
Absolutely.
absolutely. Brook Lizard, ladies and gentlemen. And also, if you go to gravetheastronaut.com, there are some new hoodies out there. The official merch of Grave the Astronaut band. So
Yes,
go
look at
ahead.
this. I
He's very
actually have mine on.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's cool. Look at that. Awesome.
Yes.
And these are Mr. Hayden's socials. So connect with him on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And obviously, you can always go to gravetheastronaut.com. And all the other things, Spotify and whatnot, you can find all the things in the description of this video. And finally, we'd like to thank Mr. Hayden for joining us this morning and awesome, spending his morning with us. And it's really been such a pleasure, and nice and warm with you. And we've actually haven't felt like we had a guest with us. We felt like we had a family member and a nice chat with you. So
Absolutely.
such a pleasure. Thank you so much for coming on and honoring the VoiceIt show with your presence. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Well, thank you guys. Love you. And I will. I'll be
Thank you.
watching future episodes, and I will see you in the Rendezvous family.
Definitely. Sure.
Thanks,
Definitely.
guys.
Thank you so much. And everybody in the audience, thank you so much for tuning in. And we'll see you on episode 25. Till then, ciao for now.
For now.
Ciao, ciao.